Welcome to Viking Spotlight. This is a podcast about people, events, and projects in the North Canton City School District. I'm your host, Jeff Wendorf. Today we're talking to Mr. Eric Bornstine, who is the principal at Hoover High School. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
Sunday, we had a great commencement. Congratulations for that. You had a lot to do with the weather. It turned out beautiful, and Memorial Stadium, it's a great way to say goodbye to the class of 22. Know that a lot of people enjoyed seeing graduation at the stadium. That's been a new phenomenon for the past couple years, but it's always a tough call for the principal with Ohio weather and so on. Walk us through the challenges of having outdoor graduations, kind of your thought process on that, how you make decisions, and all the things considered with an outdoor graduation versus indoor.
Sure. Some people love the outdoor graduation. Some people love the indoor graduation. Obviously, the positives with an indoor is it's predictable. And with the outdoor, the number one thing that's difficult is predictability, as we saw the weather on Sunday, where at practice, let's say it was less than desirable from the students and myself as well, even though with the weather forecast, it was predicted to have 0% participation during practice. Unfortunately, got a little wet. That's the biggest challenge, I guess, is the unpredictability of the weather. Some of the other challenges are when you rent a facility, a lot of that work's done for you where, administrators, grounds crew spend hours getting the seats in place and getting everything ready. So
sound systems, balancing, all those things.
Correct. And, it's just a lot more work on our end with an outdoor facility. And, when the weather's great, it's beautiful. And sure, love to have it each and every year there when the weather's great, just the unpredictability of families, having loved ones come from out of town, and are we going to move it? Are we not going to move it? I'm eating a late lunch on Sunday thinking, we may need to consider moving it, and the clouds kind of parted and the sun came out and it was a beautiful evening.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but that's always a tough call. Northeastern Ohio, right?
Absolutely.
In the spring, in May.
Wait a few minutes and the weather changes.
You'll get one of 3 seasons all in a matter of a week.
Yeah.
Good. Well, the outdoor graduation was beautiful, and I know we've had indoor in the past at the Civic Center and looking at some, any other options, but that's something to consider in the future. So how many graduates this year?
We had 308 graduates this year.
308. Great. Good. And the guidance department tracks seniors and following graduation. Can you share some of the information that they gather as far as seniors' future plans?
I guess I would start off by talking about the top 3 colleges for us. Number 1 is Kent State, then Ohio State, then the University of Akron. Kind of makes sense with proximity to us. Top 3 majors: business, pre-med, engineering. And then some statistics here for you, as I'm a math guy as well. But 192 students are planning attending a 4-year, 27 students are planning to attend a 2-year college. 9 are planning to do a trade school apprenticeship, 19 entering the workforce. As you saw at graduation, 3 are planning to go into the military. 116 of our seniors graduating with the honors diploma. And believe it or not, 101 have maintained a 4.0 all throughout high school.
Wow. A third of our senior class have a 4.0. That's incredible. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yep. High academic standards and lots. That's interesting about the schools. Ohio State, Kent State, Akron. Like you said, it makes sense. Probably a lot of kids sticking around too with Walsh, Malone,
Absolutely.
Mount Union
Sure.
nearby. Sure. Yeah. Good. But tell me again the majors.
Top one's business. Next was pre-med, and the third was engineering. The top 3.
Class of 300, and our top 3 include pre-med and engineering. That's pretty impressive. Talks a little bit about our kids and and our teachers.
Yeah, and the programs I think that we're fortunate to be able to offer.
Right. So a little bit about you. You've been here 6 years, correct?
I have.
Tell us a little bit about Eric Bornstein.
I would say that, I had a variety of experiences from small to large and urban to affluent. And, each place brings a special, I guess, perspective in terms of what you learn and what you bring. And Hoover's a great place for us to do and highlight those attributes that we have and, people ask me what's great about Hoover, and I always tell them what's not. We have so many programs and opportunities for kids that, being our size, make it ideal. And, we bring in other programs like Link Crew and things to make it feel smaller. But I guess I just feel as though those are the experiences I've had that I've been able to bring to Hoover and hopefully make it a better place.
Yeah, great, good. Well, you've got a great team to help you at the high school. Tell us a little bit about your assistant principals and what their roles are.
Sure. Sometimes people wonder, like, what do we do? So I guess the best analogy I can give is, the assistants run the day, or they manage the day, where I'm more long-term planning, the week, the month, the year ahead. And so each assistant kind of manages a third of the student body in terms of behavioral and those sort of things. And then each of them are assigned a curricular area. Mr. Householder manages the math and special education department. Mrs. Burnell works on the English and world language. And Mr. White does social studies, career tech. And obviously Mr. Bluey comes in with the digital academy that we've been fortunate to add and service kids that way as well.
Yeah, great. And about how many teaching staff you have?
I think we have approximately 100 teaching staff, 5 school counselors, and I think approximately about 45, 50 classified members as well.
Yeah, folks, support staff to run the show. Yep, yeah, that's great. Good. Well, how about a typical day for you at Hoover?
I always think that's a funny question when I'm asked that question. A typical day is, you being a high school principal before, there's no typical day. But sure. I might change the question and say the best days are the days that we get to help kids in terms of post-high school things, talking about colleges, careers, those sort of things that maybe they just have questions on. Why did I become an educator? What about this? What about that? And I guess I more talk about those in terms of the best days in this line of work.
Yeah, great. That's what I always said too. Is the best day is when I get to spend time talking to kids.
Absolutely.
Not doing administrative stuff.
Yeah, helping kids remember that the educators are human too. Sometimes it's funny to see them in the grocery store or out and about, and they're kind of surprised that we do those normal everyday things too.
Yeah, my wife was an elementary teacher, and we'd see a young kid at the grocery store, and they were amazed that we didn't live at school, which we do sometimes. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, good. Well, Hoover's had great academic tradition. What do you think is the reason for that? What's contributed to that?
Obviously, for me, I think it's a partnership between all of us. The students, the parents, teachers, administrators, communities. We're fortunate not to have some barriers to education that other districts have. So, parents do their job and send the kids ready to learn, and students come eager to learn as well. And then you have the staff growing and inspiring students to maybe go beyond where they initially wanted to go or thought they could go. So I think it's just a very supportive environment to be in.
Right. Neat. Pretty neat to see our graduates and where they're going and what they're doing. And, May is the time of chicken dinners and celebrations. And when you go to things like SUMA celebration and NHS induction and, of course, our senior scholarship night and so on, just to watch all those celebrations. Pretty neat thing. And, all the athletic celebrations and stuff. And today's a big day. We've got softball, baseball, and lacrosse all playing in state tournament level activities today. And so fun times at Hoover, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things that is a highlight at Hoover High School, and you alluded to it a little bit, is our career tech program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, depending on where you went to high school, maybe you're used to sending the students to another building, another area to go to a career tech. But for us, our career tech partnerships or compact consists of 4 schools. You got Glen Oak, Jackson, Lake, and ourselves that offer various programs to students. And here at Hoover, or actually across the compact, you got construction technology, culinary arts, biomedical science, business management, and sometimes people ask, well, how many students do you have at Hoover? And for us, over 850 of our kids participate in some career tech kind of pathway. So, what does that do? That gives them an opportunity and an experience that's more kind of career or work related, as opposed to maybe a traditional high school that many of us older folks attended, where we did the reading, writing, and arithmetic type courses.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you wanted to do something career, it was another building, and it was back in the day it was called vocational, and it was certainly not a high tech or a really a college bound activity, but a lot of ours now are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Articulated credits, college credits, and just a lot of opportunities for kids to participate in.
Right. Right. One of those, our business program, is our business management programs had great success in the last 5 years, and 3 national junior achievement companies have been National Company of the Year, and got a couple more going to compete this year. Just 15 companies invited to the national competition, 2 of those coming from Hoover. Tell us about that program.
Yeah, as you said, we're fortunate. We've had good success over the years, winning the national competition a few different times, and currently, as you said, right now 15 companies continuing, and we have 2 of those companies, which is nice. And one of them is called Brainwave, where it can encourages people to continue to keep things sharp with different fun cognitive activities. And the other one is Innovistics, which talks about speech improvement, so helps people feel more comfortable. A lot of what we do in schools center on presentations and those sort of things, and so the kids felt that improving that experience and confidence of the presenter would be a good thing, and that's what those Innovistics does. Both companies are competing in June at the National Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C.
Very cool. They've had great success in the past, and the neat thing over the past 4 or 5 years is watching the things that are identified by the kids as potential businesses. Some have actually sold their business when they're done. Some have continued it, and others have just let theirs go. But pretty neat that you see. In fact, in the county, we were just in a meeting the other day about mental health issues in our county, and here's Starkmar and some other county level associations handing out some resources that our kids developed a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting
it's like,
to get that.
Yeah,
we're familiar with those.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it's very cool to see our kids develop those kind of things.
Yeah.
Well, along with academics and career tech, our fine arts and performing arts programs are outstanding. What are some of the success stories in the arts this year?
Yeah, just meant to be a summary, not inclusive by any means. There are so many things we could talk about, but the marching band, string orchestra, symphonic concert bands, symphonic choir, men's, women's choruses, all receiving superior ratings at state competition. So, we're used to the athletic recognitions, but a lot of those performing arts are receiving at state level competition and performing very well.
Right.
Also, we're fortunate to bring back some of the performing arts with Clue and Grease, great performances this year, and it's nice to see students continue with those. And, also I think they appreciated the full audiences again, as the past couple of years we were not able to do so. We also have visual arts. Some of our students placed first and second in the county at the art show. We have a student named Addison Kern that has artwork displayed at State Capitol. And one of the unique things about Hoover is the Studio 525. So we have been able to offer 4 student-run art shows this year, which is pretty unique for a high school. So just a lot of things we could speak about, and once again, not meant to be a all-encompassing list. We'd be here for quite a long time to talk about the achievements of our kids.
What's always been amazing to me is it's number one, the academic rigor and the academic success of our kids, and they continue to perform at high levels and do those things. But that's hard to see. It's hard for the public to see that and experience that. But boy, if you go to performing arts or a visual arts, the studio is incredible. An athletic event, you get to see Hoover kids shine, and there's a high number of kids involved in athletics and arts.
Sure.
And I think that's partly why we're so successful academically as well.
Agreed. And it highlights maybe a different, you talk about different levels of intelligence and characteristics, and that definitely highlights and showcases those differently than what people are used to with the athletics.
Right. Well, being the last week of school, I know our seniors are certainly done counting down. They're done. They've got that diploma. They're not coming back for a while. But our K-11 kids are certainly counting the days, and it's down to 2 or 3 fingers right now. But most people are making plans for the summer. Our teachers are quite truthfully looking at it too. But they do a lot of work in the summer too, taking courses in professional development and planning and meetings and so on. But how about school administrators? Everybody thinks, you don't work all year.
Yeah, that's probably the number one question I get is, what am I going to do with my summer? And yes, I get some time off, not quite as long as people anticipate. But, right now we have kind of a foot in both worlds. We have a foot trying to kind of wrap up and close this year with credits and those sort of things with the master schedule, balancing classes, getting materials ready. And then we have summer school for some students that maybe unfortunately need to make up a course, but also we have enrichment and accelerated pieces like, summer gym and to get going and get through as well. But we also have a school year getting ready to start. So, we will take these weeks to, once again, balance the master schedule to try to make it the best environment for kids as they return, make sure we have materials and resources ready for them, hiring staff, just getting ready for that school year to start so that hopefully people come back and it's seamless and they don't know all the work that's put into getting it ready and being prepared and polished and ready to go.
Right. The thing that I've noticed the last several years, the first week of school, you walk down the halls and the kids are all there. It's like they were just there. They really know, they're comfortable. They see it. It's like they never left. But through 2 or 3 months go by and they come in and so great job in the summer. That's how many students? 1,400?
Yeah, somewhere around 1,450, 1,500 each year. And programs like Link Crew, I think, also help transition the ninth graders into the building where they feel more comfortable. So a lot of planning and things, not just by administrators, that's taken place, whether you talk about, the different sports camps, band camp, all those things, getting people prepared for August and getting ready to hit the ground running.
Yep. Teachers reviewing and modifying curriculum, trying to get better, and good.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, you've been in the business for a few years here, and I won't say how many, but a few years in the high school setting for a long time. And
Sure.
What have you seen from year 1 or 2 or even your first 5 years? What about the most recent? How about a little compare and contrast?
Sure. I don't mind. I think this is my 26th year in education, and I think the structure hasn't changed much. We come to school, we go to class, we have teachers that teach us, but I think from the time I've started to now, for me, the biggest difference is the connectedness of people. And, there's a lot of positives that can be said with that of, connecting with someone through Facebook, though kids don't use Facebook anymore. Old people like me do. People that you hadn't seen and seeing the pictures and all that. And but I guess for me, that's the concern I also have is the downtime. Back in my day, there would be that disconnect and, go outside and play or do this and that and the other and not to be on social media. So some of school has changed, but I think that's the biggest change that I think that impacts our kids and not always for the most positive. I think, I work with my own kids to have decompressed time away from devices, just to relax, think about things, not just be entertained every day and every minute.
Right. Yeah. I saw a meme where somebody was saying the downfalls of society today is people looking at their phones and they show a bus or somewhere, a public place where everybody's looking at their phone, but then beside it they show a picture of the 1940s or 50s and everybody on the bus has a newspaper with their face in the newspaper.
Sure.
The difference is multimedia and phones, it's endless. You can stay on it for hours. A newspaper, you can pretty much read every word in about 30 minutes. So,
right.
But different times, that's for sure. And accessibility to anything you want on the internet is a blessing and a curse.
Absolutely.
Especially for our young kids. But got to teach them how to be able to discriminate what's good and what's bad and try to make good choices. So,
sure. Absolutely.
Good. Awesome. Well, what else do you want to share with us about Hoover High School? What can we expect next year, and anything you want to share?
I think we highlighted most of it. We talk a lot about the 3 A's here, and we're not talking about arithmetic and all those things that used to be talked about. We talk about the arts, athletics, and academics, and we do take each area prideful in terms of continuing to get better, and each area is important to us, and I think that's been highlighted in our discussion today and will continue to be important to us in next year as well. I know our times to help with some of the other buildings in terms of departure are adjusted a few minutes. Other than that, we're getting ready to look forward to bringing people back next year and have a very good, positive experience with their kids.
Yep, great, good. Well, you've had a great success this year in 21-22, but all the previous years too. Wish you all the best next year and take some time this summer as much as you can, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Rejuvenate and refresh. So, well, thanks for joining us today, Mr. Bornstein, and thank you to our listeners for joining us as we learn more about the district and the community. This will be our last podcast for a little bit. We'll be filling out our schedule for the summer and working on next year to prepare for another exciting year in podcast world and the Viking Spotlight. So in the meantime, have a great summer with friends and family. Again, we'll certainly take emails and suggestions on how to improve our podcast, some things you might want to hear, some questions you might have, but reach out to us at vikingspotlight@northcantonschools.org. And if you have any questions or comments, let us know at that email address. But otherwise, we're signing off for Viking Spotlight for the 21-22 school year, and we'll get things started again in August or September. Have a great summer, and go Vikings.